The Saints played their worst game of the year against the Buccaneers. I hope y'all are ready for this one. They lose 27-9, and it was horrible. Downright atrocious. Putrid. Derek Carr should not have played. I love the fact that Carr's a veteran, grown-ass man, been in the league 10 years, was on an MVP run at some point in his career. But it was very clear after, what was it, 39 passing attempts for Derek Carr? Not even 150 yards passing? But he should have played, right? He was taking first-team reps all week, which I'm here for that. AC sprain. We kind of hear all the stories of how Breeze played through one in 2014. He was good. But, Derek Carr was still getting blasted behind the O-line. Yes, he only took 2 sacks, which was half of the sacks he's taken per game over the last 3. And the Saints are still in. The Saints O-line is just as bad as the Bears, Saints fans. Did y'all know that? Saints O-line is bad. Derek Carr should not have played. There's no reason for Derek Carr to play. Derek Carr sits that game and we lose to the Bucs. I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. But it's getting down to the point to where I don't know how much worse it can get. Honestly, I don't know how much worse it can get. Because as long as Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael are at the helm for New Orleans, they will go nowhere. Nowhere. Not with the conservative play calling. Not with the misuse of the talent. Not with sinking over $150 million into your offensive line. Nowhere. I don't care how good the defense is. Because as long as you have a guy of Dennis Allen's stature, and Pete Carmichael clearly rode the coattails of Sean Payton for those years. Clearly. Because we have a lot of talent right now. A lot. And it's downright putrid what the New Orleans Saints are putting on the football field as we speak. Dennis Allen is a bot at the podium. Oh, yeah, we didn't play very well. It starts with me. We didn't execute very well offensively. No shit, DA. Obviously, we just gave up over 20 points for the first time in 12 NFL games after this game is done. 11 straight games. And you managed to get us to 6-5 with arguably the second best defense the New Orleans Saints has ever had. I'll give the hats off to you, DA. You're an exquisite defensive coordinator. I love the way you have turned around this defense. But as a head coach, not cutting it. Dennis Allen is well under 500 in his career as a coach. I'm not even going to speak his record on this podcast because clearly his play on the field speaks for itself. Y'all know somehow the Saints are worse on offense this year at 15.5 points per game compared to 19 points per game last year, and we're supposed to be better this year. Even through the first 4 games, we are worse this year somehow offensively, and this is the healthiest we've been, maybe outside of quarterback because, Derek Carr on a bum shoulder. With the healthy Michael Thomas, who I'm actually surprised by. With the Chris Olave, who only gets 2 targets in this game, 2 touches in this game. What's happening? With the Rashid Shaheed, who we just pull out as a rookie undrafted free agent, and it feels like every time he touches the ball, it's a 15-yard game. So we've got one of the best receiving corps we've had in a while, stable. You get Kendre Miller. You sink more money into the O-line. Is the best defense you've had in probably a decade. Unfortunately, Drew didn't get to witness it. And you're managing 15.5 points per game. What's even worse is Dennis Allen won't even commit to change right now. The way to change is to do things differently. Shout out to my amazing lady who told me that a couple days ago. If you want to change, you got to do shit differently. And we're not doing anything differently. That's why I start to wonder. Some people say it's going to get worse. I don't know. I felt like the bottom was Sunday. And I have a little slack. Derek Carr, bum shoulder, AC injury, AC joint. I get it. He wanted to play. Great. But were we really that much better with him? The answer is no. We just weren't. And that's how I know we're stuck, because Dennis Allen won't comment on the play calling when asked. He said at this point in the season, he's not going to change it. He's not going to move on from it. Okay, so we're just going to get the Matt Canada treatment, and I don't know, hopefully Pete Carmichael doesn't make a burner and we're just out here wondering what the hell's going on. You will continue to stay stuck until you learn the lessons that are constantly presented to you and you can break through and move forward. And that's where the Saints are right now. Derek Carr, clearly not 100%. That's kind of my only slack for this football game. That's the kind of slack that I'm giving them this week, but Derek Carr still had 3.7 yards per attempt. Y'all want to know that Alvin Kamara had the most receptions for the least amount of yards in NFL history on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alvin Kamara had 14 targets. Because Derek Carr wouldn't even want to get blown up. Derek Carr knew that once that timer went off in his head, he was going to have anywhere to throw. And he's playing on a bum shoulder. At that point, playing on a bum shoulder. Alvin Kamara had 14 targets, 13 catches for 33 yards. No touchdowns. The Saints didn't score a touchdown. I'm sure y'all knew that. You watch the football game, you see how ugly it was. I mean, let's just keep going. It's just atrocity of a football game. I got a nice question for y'all at the end of this. I'm really interested to see what y'all say because I actually just thought about it not right before we got on the show, but today as we got into the day of the show. I might have seen the worst play call ever from Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael in this football game. Adam Prentice, the fullback. Well, first let me take it back some. Credit Isaac Yiadom with the pick on Baker Mayfield. I kind of got the same. I kind of thought the call was blown. Should have been a touchback. Like his momentum literally took him into the end zone. The 2 feet come down in the end zone, so that's where his possession is established. And even Gene Steratore said the ref should have worked to make this a touchback. Okay, whatever. Ball's on the 1, right? That's fine. You know, it's not like we have a $100 million running back in Alvin Kamara or Taysom Hill, who, when he touches the ball 7 or more times, which, by the way, he only touched the ball 4 times this game, the Saints are 16-1. Or just, the third-round pick in Kendre Miller that we brought in the offseason in the NFL draft. No, we're going to hand the football to our fullback. We're going to hand the football to Adam Prentice, who has not had a rushing attempt since last year. Not to our $100 million running back who was averaging 4.6 yards per carry on the day. Not to Taysom Hill. Not to Kendre Miller. I would even prefer to damn tush push on Derek Carr. Something. But you give it to Adam Prentice. It's the first rushing attempt he had since last year. What are we doing? I mean, honestly, what are the Saints doing? I mean, I know what they're doing. They're staying held captive by, 2 lieutenants that were under Sean Payton. But the Saints just look bad, y'all. They look bad. We know they look bad. They're a bad football team right now. They are probably a bottom 10 football team right now. And that sucks to say as a Saints fan. You cut me, I bleed black and gold. Whole dad side of the family from New Orleans. Go there on the regular. I'll be there on Thursday Night Football to hopefully watch us beat the disappointing Jaguars this year. Darby, maybe you were right about us buying tickets to the Bears game. Defense sets up 20 points. Defense lets up 26 points. The streak is over. We let Baker Mayfield at home dice us up. That feels almost worse than Daniel Jones with the 11-point comeback in the Dome a couple years ago. We let Baker Mayfield dice us up. Now, I will give credit to Tampa. I think Tampa's a good football team this year. Baker Mayfield's clearly in his zone. Baker looks pretty impressive to me. Now, I know they haven't played a lot of people, so they're not going to be as high in my power rankings. But the Saints are just bad. I mean, they're so bad right now. The coaching, the coordinating. It's the worst I've seen as a fan. It's the worst I've seen. Definitely. The New Orleans Saints have more defensive turnovers, 5, than they do total touchdowns on the year, 4. And one of those touchdowns was the Rashid Shaheed punt return touchdown that we also lost that football game too. We blew the 17-point lead on the road, pitched a shutout through, almost only 11 minutes left in the game. Yeah, that football game. A Like I said, though, how far from the bottom are we really? How far from the depths of hell are the New Orleans Saints in terms of NFL purgatory? Because it's getting to a point where you're just going to have to blow it up. I mean, we've been kicking the can down the road for years. We knew once Breeze was gone, it was going to be ugly. But I didn't expect a lieutenant and a clueless offensive coordinator to be the reason of our demise. I mean, are the Saints just going to sit here and waste Dome Patrol Jr., Dome Patrol 2.0? Is that what they're going to do? Because we already wasted a lot of Drew Brees' prime years, 7-9, 8-8, 9-7, because we're putting the 20th and the 25th best defense on the field. And Drew Brees can give us 38, but damn it, we're going to let up 45. Did we not learn from that? We start to get the elite defense as Drew gets to the end of his tenure. And the best defense we've got, we're squandering it with some amazing offensive talent with over $150 million invested into that offensive line, and we're being ran by Dennis Allen and Pete fucking Carmichael. Is that what we're going to sit here and do? Are we going to sit here and piss away our best defense we've had in over 10 years? Is that what's going to happen? Because that's what it feels like.